How are you? Cardiff away. Not too shabby. See you in a second.
Bad.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds eating bastard. Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No. He's a utensil player a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Nothing spectacular, really.
What up, Jay?
Now then.
How you doing, man?
Not bad, mate, not bad. Cardiff were nothing spectacular.
I tell you what, I quite like having that particular bit on at the end there because, you know, we can use it in many different ways.
We can,
but
we can.
We can safely say Cardiff were not spectacular today.
They were garbage, weren't they?
I'd be honest with you. I predict my prediction was 3-1 on the pod. But I genuinely wasn't really sure if we'd get 3 goals, but seemed to have gone all right. Like,
do you mean beforehand or during the game? Because during the game, it looked like we were going to score about 6.
Oh no, beforehand, yeah, not during the game. Like, no, we could have got a cricket score there at one point where we were having opportunities. Like, but
absolutely,
no, just beforehand, like I had that kind of sinking feeling, but no, it actually turned out okay. I saw a stat there, obviously not by our man stats, but it was basically something like we'd won 16, drawn 14, and lost 26 at Cardiff, and that doesn't fill you full of confidence when you've just kind of predicted a 3-1 win. You know what I mean?
So we won like a quarter of the games against them. That was it.
Yeah, that's it. Like
terrible.
so it was.
Just give me 1 second here.
Okay,
Chris,
what are you doing?
Chris, better late than that. It was 33 minutes past, Chris. Give us a break, man.
Chris,
it's real life here.
I tell you what, no, I don't know if Chris, you're not new, but Jesus Christ, only being 3 minutes late is actually punctual, mate. Be perfectly honest with you.
It's good for us, this.
Yeah, we're on. Like we weren't coming on up until about 7:05.
Yeah, exactly. And then suddenly we
Jay
pulled it all together.
Jay was stuck in traffic at the shop.
Yeah, well, you've been out on.
I don't talk to me about my day, Jay. My day has just been absolutely horrid, man. I went to go, right? I'll tell you how bad it was. The traffic in Leeds City Council have a lot to fucking answer for. I'll get me rant out of the way just very quickly. You're an old bollocks, Chris. Went to pick up a mate to come round the gaff to watch the game. Only lived near Kirkstall and ended up getting detoured everywhere out towards Horsford to come back to mine. And we got to a point at the Esso fucking petrol station at the roundabout in Horsforth, and we were like,
Horsforth,
yeah. I was like, you know what, fuck this, and we just turned around and went back to the Fleece pub and had a pint and watched the game on my phone.
I was like,
yeah. So I've had one of those days now at this stage.
For those watching and listening who don't know what we're on about, Leeds City Council in the Wisdom have decided that because they're removing the footbridge near Armley Gyratory this weekend, they needed an 18-mile diversion. 18 miles.
18 miles.
I mean, I'm gathering it's because it's got to be suitable for every kind of vehicle, but it's crazy. Anyway,
let's
go back to the football because we actually won against Cardiff away.
Oh yeah, Cardiff away today was fantastic. It looked like all the travelling fans had a great old laugh all together as well, so that was nice.
Yeah, Alison said the atmosphere looked great, and it really did, and our fans were all you could hear on the TV as per.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I was listening from my phone, but they were still very loud. Like, so, I was. I'll be honest with you, that journey home is going to be really good now for them, and I hope they have a good one, and no one ends up on away day sleepers or gets sick or anything like that. So,
yeah, absolutely.
The performance from start to finish was very good. I was chatting to my mate, and I just turned around to him and I said, it looks like the way we started looked like how we set up for the last 10 minutes of a game if we're chasing it.
Yeah.
It very much looked like that for me. And I thought from back to front, we were absolutely brilliant today.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really expect that from us.
No, I thought Ampadu were awesome at centre back. He looked like he played there all season. He didn't look uncomfortable or out of place once.
Not at all.
And even Calvin didn't look that comfortable when he played there.
Well, like I think a lot to do with it. He plays alongside Rodon for the national team as well, so they'd know each other's games quite well, and having that kind of understanding between the two of them is going to it's going to make it a little easier for them to play alongside each other. And you could see that they had that kind of rapport with the way they played today.
It's almost like telepathy, in it, with players that know each other's game.
Yeah.
They just do know where each is going to be and where to cover for each other and stuff like that. And like you really benefit when you got that kind of understanding between players, don't you?
Oh, you do indeed, yeah. And like the fact that they literally play with each other. Anytime they're playing football with each other. So that's always going to build a good relationship. And the same with Dan James. Like, he was a good out ball today as well, was Dan James. Yeah. He wasn't very kind of, the way I saw it, he wasn't very stuck into the game, but everything he did was very, very was very useful and benefited the team a lot, but it wasn't as frequent as we're kind of used to with Dan James, where he's always, but he was very effective today in the small parts,
He was really good, I thought. Mr. Dodo's saying Ampadu's easily our best buy Rodon as well, because he's a brick wall at the back. I think having players like Ampadu and James and that can only help us to get Rodon permanently, because we won't want to play with the mates and get paid loads of money for it and have adoring fans around the world.
Yeah, I think it's
Bryn's saying Stroik goes to the bench now, let Groove stay at 4 and Ampadu and Rodon as the centre-backs. I mean, would you go for that?
I was looking at Gruev today, and we hadn't seen an awful lot of him to come to the conclusion that he'd be able to slot in there if needs be, because he was only getting cameos here and there, and he played one game where he played from the start, and it was against Stoke, and it was a bit. We all know what happened at Stoke, like, so we couldn't. The whole team was shit against Stoke, so we couldn't really judge him off that. Britt is right. I think that is a certain change that we can make now and be able to confidently go, right, okay, Gruev looks like he can actually do a job in there. His one thing I saw was a criticism of him, and it was one of mine as well, that he tended to pass sideways and backwards quite a lot. But since he started growing into the team, playing more minutes, he started finding his feet and being able to kind of look at the pass forward now more so than the sidewards or backwards pass, which is great, because if he's going to play in there with Kamara's the more kind of engine room, I'll break shit up, I'll give it to you, and you kind of lay it off or pass it or whatever. I think it's he's definitely come along in the games that I've seen him gradually. It hasn't been at the pace you kind of expected him to come in and do, because we didn't expect Ampadu and Kamara to be so good in there before he came in, and we didn't expect Gray to be as phenomenal as he's been since he's come into that midfield role. So yeah, I like the look of Groove at the moment. I'm not going to, say an awful lot more on that. I do like the look of him and being able to come into the team there.
Danny's saying, look at Groove's stats today. It's the best stats from a midfielder for Leeds since the 70s. I saw that on Twitter.
I missed that now.
It was to do with like his pass completion and stuff. He'd completed something like 68 out of 70 passes.
Right.
Like the highest percentage or the highest number of passes or something like that since the 70s for a Leeds player, which is just mad. Like everything he passed went to somebody, basically. He played some great balls today. Yeah, he looked like he had a real range of passing on him, and did I freeze then?
Yeah.
I'll just say he had a great range of passing on him, and I don't think we'd really seen that from him before today.
No, well, we saw glimpses of it. There was a few passes like in the game, I think it was game previous or before that, where he was playing a few nice balls in over the back of the centre backs and the full backs, and you could see that he potentially has that range of passing. But I kind of look at it. It's funny because he doesn't look like his technique will allow him to make that pass the way he kicks it. It's just, I don't know, there's something about it. I was just watching it and it just looks I don't know. It looks like someone kicking a football for the first time in some ways. You know what I mean? I don't know what
but
it
yeah,
is.
he goes where he wants.
Yeah. But it's something about it. It's the technique. I just can't get my head around it. And if you just look at it next time,
it's
you're
working for him.
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah. But I definitely think today has kind of concreted that we have far more options to rotate players in a couple of positions now than we were left with before. Like there was obviously there's the Cresswell stuff going on at the moment where he needs to work harder to get in the squad and stuff like that. But now at least if, Strike gets injured and Cooper's out or he's not up to it, then we know we have Ampadu that can slot in there seamlessly next to Rodon or, him with Strike if needs be, stuff like that, So we're finding these little things. I don't know if it's by accident or what the crack is or just, Fark has a core number of players that he trusts in certain positions and he's happy to just do it that way.
It's mad though, isn't it? Like Cresswell must have died a little inside today with that Ampadu performance. He must feel like he's never been so far from the first team as he does right now.
And it's mad because he showed glimpses last season where he was very much capable for Millwall to be able to come into our team, considering who was there and who was leaving.
Yeah.
And he's played one or two games this season where he actually, he's done all right. Like, against West Ham, he absolutely bossed Antonio for 2 games, and he was only 19 at the time. Like, 19 or he was only 19 at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of a kick in the stones for him, but he's at an age now where he kind of just needs to buck up, and if he wants to make it at Leeds, he knows what he needs to do because it's been said publicly now.
The thing that's mad about it, I don't want to dwell too much on what his dad says because we've covered it. But after seeing how Leeds stood firm over Nonto, why would you think that it would be a good idea and that you get a different end result by kicking off publicly? Like we basically had a player go on strike and we still said to him, "You're not going anywhere."
Well, like maybe the ability of Cresswell isn't to the standard that Nanto is at in his position, where Nanto is at a standard like he's a full international. He's got the skill and the ability in the position that he's playing and to be able to push for a place there, whereas maybe Cresswell's ability at a centre-back might not be up to the standard that Fark expects, and that's where he kind of needs. Yeah, he needs to buck up and he needs to look at what he's doing and to improve on certain areas.
Do you think it's maybe to do with the fact that we always say Cresswell's like an old school centre back, like a no nonsense centre back? Do you think it's that Farker wants him to be more of a ball playing centre back, and that he's saying to him, if you can't become that, then you're not much use to me?
Yeah, I think we've seen glimpses of Charlie where he's not just the blood and thunder, I'll get my head on anything and I'll fly into any tackle. He has the ability to play it out and to maybe carry the ball a bit, but it's just like the standard that he needs to meet now has just gone up a level again because he's got Rodon and now he's got Ampadu in there as well. So the level and standard has to go up. Like even though he's able to carry the ball forward and find a forward pass, the standard that he needs to be at it just needs to be a lot higher. And if I'm hoping that his attitude isn't bad, because that's some of the stuff that was going round in the press that his attitude wasn't great in training or whatever. I hope not, because his old fella is an ex-professional footballer and he should know better than most that the attitude needs to be right, but we'll try and get back to the game anyway, Jay. So I just wanted to talk about Rutter in the 10 role behind Bamford today.
Oh yeah,
seems to be very much working.
Came alive, didn't he?
Yeah. Do you think is that a nod to Fark to say, right, if you're playing Pirro, maybe this is the way it needs to go? Like it's whichever is the informed striker starts and the other replaces, and he plays up top.
I suspect this may make him think about his policy a little bit.
Yeah,
he's sort of backed himself into a corner with it, hasn't he?
A little bit,
He were like, no, it's not changing. This is how it is. So if he does change it now, he's going to have to kind of take his medicine on that, isn't he? So We'll see, won't we? I'd like to think that he would put performances above his own pride, and I think that he would.
Yeah, he strikes me as the kind of guy who will kind of go, right, okay, I said what I said. I tried what I was trying. It just maybe didn't work. He doesn't strike me as the arrogant type to go, well, I'm right anyway, regardless of whatever's working now.
He's like, he comes across to me as someone with conviction rather than arrogance.
Yeah,
and I think that's a good thing. You know what I mean? You do want your manager to fully believe in what he's doing.
Absolutely.
How are the players going to buy in if he doesn't?
Well, you've hit the nail on the head there. Like, if the manager doesn't believe what he's doing, then how are the players meant to buy into it?
And I mean, you can't tell me Wayne Rooney believed in what he was doing at Birmingham.
Yeah, well, you know. Bryn makes a point here just on the Nanto Cresswell thing. He says, Nanto is an Italian international. Cresswell is, let's be honest, an average championship centre-back who could become good. Exactly, Bryn. That's kind of what I was kind of getting at with the level for him has to be stepped up another bit now, because even though we're in the championship, the players ahead of him are at the level that he needs to be at. And
that's absolutely it.
He could become a very good centre-back further down the line.
It's all could right now.
Yeah. He'll get his opportunity at some point. This is the thing. I'm pretty sure he'll get an opportunity at some point.
Of course he will.
He's signed a 4-year contract, like, so.
That's it. We had a comment from somebody a little while back. I can't remember who said it now. But just said the fear for us if Rodon gets injured, because Cresswell isn't that, is he? And I don't think any of them at the back read the game as well as Rodon does. And again, today we're outstanding. And he's so good at coming out and carrying the ball as well.
Like, that's the thing. He'd be as big a miss as I think Ben White would have been when he was out in the promotion season. Because we tried Calvin in there, like Sfark has done at Ampadu today, and it didn't work, as well. I think if it is a case that Rodon does go out at some point and Cresswell does have to come in, I think it depends on who Cresswell has beside him as to how he'll play the game, So if it's Cooper, God knows. If it's Ampadu, there's probably a better chance that he'll be more calm and collect on the ball, because Ampadu is obviously one of those characters within the squad who he doesn't panic. And we've seen it, he doesn't, like, there was one today where he absolutely lumped it away, but it's in the 18-yard box and he had 3 players close him down. So anyone lumps it there. Like,
you've got to, haven't you? You have to know when to do that.
Yeah, so it could come down to a case of who plays alongside him, but I think he'll be able to do a job regardless.
Yeah, I think if it's him and Ampadu at the back, though, it means we've got a hell of an injury crisis.
Yeah, we're going through some serious shit there. Like, so look, in relation to Somerville today,
yes,
had a great game. Bar the penalty miss.
He worked very hard.
Yeah.
He never stopped going at him. He was part of the reason that we were just all over him. It was just like bearing down on him every 10 seconds with the ball, and they're shitting themselves. And I love to see that. And he kept running, didn't he? He kept trying. He kept going at him. He created a goal. He had a few goals himself. He were unlucky. He had the penalty, which were unlucky, to be fair. And he'll have felt extra shit about that, because Bamford asked to take it again, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
because he did chat to him, didn't he? So he will have said, "Oh, can I have it? Come on!" And he'll have said, "No, fuck off, I'm penalty taker."
But look, I know I get the whole senior thing or whatever, but if Bamford's missed the last 3 penalties, I know he's on a bit of a goal run at the moment. He's got 3 and 3, but just ease your way back into it, Patrick. Don't get ahead of yourself. You've missed 3 penalties on the fucking bounce, dude. All right, so
can't go Hollywood yet.
Yeah, don't go all Hollywood on us just yet. Like, but I thought Somerville's performance today, like the cutback for Bamford's goal, I had to watch his movement again in the replay. His touch to take him down to the byline was absolutely fantastic. The first time when it happened live, I thought he'd overcooked a touch. But you can see that he actually, the way he finesses the ball, he actually means that touch. And he actually means to do it, like, and you're kind of like, geez, that's class. And
he were great.
A couple of lads, I was watching it on my phone, and a couple of lads, obviously, I was listening to it while I was using my eyes. A couple of lads that were watching it, they basically said, yeah, look, Bamford, all he needs is a goal to go in off his arse or something like that. And the goal he got today epitomizes just any kind of goal, you know.
I didn't see Bamford's goal. I was listening to it on international radio, and then it cut out for a minute or something, and then it came. I had no idea what had happened, and then because I wasn't watching properly at the time, I were in the middle of something, and the commentator said something about us being ahead, and I was like, "Hey, what?" And I realised that it said 1-0, and I was like, "Oh Jesus, we scored!"
Yeah.
So a bit of a delayed celebration for me, but yeah, I will watch it later on. Obviously, I saw the rest of the game, so just typical. I missed that bit.
Yeah, no, it was just good. It was just funny that some random person that I was talking to the pub would just say that, and then they to go in off his arse, and nearly did. Like,
yeah,
a proper striker's goal, just in the right place to put it away. Yeah, Chris. Yep. He was on his arse when he put it away. So he was set down in the 6-yard box when he put it in. It was one of them.
It is good to see him looking confident again, because when he plays and he's on it, he's a menace to defenders.
Yeah, he presses really well. It's one of the things that frustrated me about Rutter when he played up front, is that he didn't press quite as well as Bamford, and it took away any of the work that the midfielders were doing behind him, because
Bamford's like a wasp when you've got an ice lolly. Do you know what I mean? On a summer's day, it's just round you, won't leave you alone.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, right, there's a comment there right down at the bottom, Jay. Do you want to try bash out that one? Yeah, what's that? Are you gonna? Who's it from?
Oh, okay, go on then. Venelin Kabakchev.
How close is that? That's pretty good by the looks.
That's
of
my
it.
attempt, and if I'm wrong, I apologise.
You've paused to get it.
Yeah, do that now. I've got his name right, but I can't read the comment. Rodon walks into any PL team, 2 foot Martinez from Scum, then has a fine. Oh, look at that. Nice. Bang on.
Hey, there you go.
Bang
See,
on.
I'm known as the butcher of names. You're from Bulgaria as well. Nice one. Great to have you along, man.
While you're on Venelin, if you've heard it, did Brinlaw's pronunciation of Gruev, was that right? Or are we right? Because when I first heard him say it, I thought he said Cruyff. And I was like, what? Because he said Groif, I think. Groif. And we always say Gruev because we pronounce it how it appears, but
say what you see, isn't it?
Yeah, interested to know how it should be. It's just joined us. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Stay along for the ride.
Appreciate it, man. So we'll go on to the next goal.
Go on then.
Oh, go on then. Are you sure you don't want to start talking about it yourself? No.
No, I'm here to listen, mate. I don't want to take over.
You're here to listen, man. I feel like I've been waffling on for ages.
He says we're right about Groove, by the way.
Oh, sweet. Nice one. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
First-hand information. We've got it first-hand.
That's it.
So Dan James is on a bit of a hot streak now. That's 9 goals this season.
Yeah, he's doing well, isn't
he? Yeah, they seem to be duking it out at the moment. Like, do you know what? I'm fearing that we cursed Pirro.
We're never going to give that shirt away.
Well, that's the thing. We're never going to give it away, are we? We should email him or tweet him or something and go, look, just fucking snatch the ball for the next penalty and take it so we can get rid of this shirt and just be done with it.
I know.
But yeah, so Dan James is having a great season so far, Jay.
Yeah, he is. My light just went out for some reason. Yeah, he is. He's having a blinder this year. He's I don't know. He's come back like a different man. He's refreshed, and you can tell he's got the bit between his teeth. You know, he wants to play for Leeds. He wants to prove himself. He wants to be at this club, and I'm all for it. I love to see that kind of effort. And it's not just that he's trying really hard. He's raised his game. He's doing things he wasn't doing before. He's scoring goals. He's getting crosses to people because he used to just bang it across and it never went near anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he looks like a different player.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Well, it's not even a word. It just looks like his end product is far, far better.
Yeah,
he's actually, like you said there, he 9 times out of 10 just bang it in the box and hope for the best. But he's actually getting his head up now and having a look, and basically just trying to do exactly what he needs to do. And so I was listening to Popey on BBC Radio Leeds while I was stuck in the car in traffic, and he was saying that Dan James's dad was like wanted him to play for Leeds. That's the club that his dad wanted him to play for, and it
must have killed him when he went to Scum.
Yeah. Well, like as we all know, it wasn't exactly in our hands for that to happen. Like so.
Yeah.
That's the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid. But he's having a fantastic season so far.
Do you think? Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
Do you think that time he's played in the Premier League has made him a better player, and he's now a slightly higher level than he was the last time he played in the Championship for us? I think he's improved, mate, and I think it's got to be part of it.
Well, regular game time will always make a player better, but the one thing that you need to take into account is the players they're playing around as well, because if you're playing with better players that you're normally used to, you're always going to improve. Like, because if the standard is higher, then you have to up your game. It's like the Cresswell situation as well. He has to up his game. So. Yeah, I think you're right. The time in the Premier League and the loan spells have helped him out. Do you want to read out Tash's comment there?
Aye. She says, Scum almost destroyed Dan James. He's finally clean of that stench.
Yeah.
He's been hosed down. Do you remember Phoenix Knights, Max and Paddy, when they call the Home Office and they tell him that Brian Potter's a terrorist, and they turn up and they spray them all down at the end? That's what they've done to Dan James.
I'm going to have to.
What I'm talking about, have you?
I'm going to have to out myself here as never seen Phoenix Knights or Max and Paddy.
Oh my! This is a revelation.
Well, I've
you come over here disrespecting our culture.
I've never watched The Office either.
Oh Jesus Christ! I don't know what we're doing here.
We're doing a football podcast.
We better go back to the game because I just feel very disappointed right now.
Oh, don't. It's like that's like when your parents go, "I'm not angry, I'm disappointed." It's worse than being angry. Like, just be angry.
Bryn's upset too.
Sorry, Bryn, man.
Can't speak, you dickhead, Carl.
I'll binge watch The Office soon enough. I
reckon it's more Phoenix Knights and.
Oh, right. I'll do that too. I'll do that too.
Okay, no. What did you think about that penalty, by the way, that Somerville took? Because that might have been Danny said no one's giving him any shit for it. I don't think it warranted any shit because you could see exactly what he tried to do, and the fact he got a goal anyway probably protected him a little from too much criticism.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'd just like to rewind a little bit, little bit, and ask why the fuck it wasn't a penalty for Patrick Bamford.
Well, I made a note of this, and it says
froze again there, dude.
I got frozen. It says shite ref denied penalty on Bamford and the free kick for James when he put it through that guy's legs and he just body checked him. Yeah, just fucking garbage. That Bamford one were outrageous. The guy led in with an arm. He smashed him.
He absolutely smashed him. Like, how is that?
He must have thought it were a penalty himself.
Well, he got up thinking it was a penalty, so I don't know why it wasn't a penalty. Bamford had control of the ball. He was between man and ball. Therefore, if Bamford has the ball, then it's a penalty.
You're getting some stick here, Carl, for not watching Phoenix Knights. Danny says you need sacking.
Fucking hell, I don't get paid to get sacked.
Tasha says she's not seen it either, so it must be an Irish thing.
Go on, Tash.
Something wrong with you, what?
Nothing wrong with us, that, man. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, I'll get something watched. I'll get Phoenix Knights watched then. All right, okay.
Oh, Bandy's on you now. Have you seen League of Gentlemen?
I have. I love it. I love Royston Vesey. Go on. I'll have a brown fish sandwich, please. Love Royston Vesey.
We didn't burn him.
Class. That was a brilliant show, that Royston Vesey. Like, yeah.
It's fucking ace. It's fucking
ace. It's quality. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it.
And if you ever wonder what the special stuff is from the butchers, if you just go to the bar at half time at Elland Road and get a burger or a pie, you'll soon find out.
I have seen Dairy Girls, yeah.
Of course he has.
But Mrs. Brownsberry's
that's terrible. It's the worst thing that's ever been on TV, is that. I'm not having that one. Marvin Only Fools and Horses, man.
Yeah, I would say that. And
can't beat that, to be fair.
Powers and Father Ted, yeah.
Bit of Dad's Army back in there.
No father. Anyway, it's a football podcast.
It is. It warmed my heart today when I saw the Cardiff fans leaving en masse at 85 minutes. I really enjoyed that because they probably went there thinking, "Oh, it's Leeds. We always get some out of Leeds."
Yeah, and the stats would be in their favour, to be honest with you. 26 losses for us was a phenomenal amount of. We always get something out of Leeds, for them. Like, so you can understand why they were a little confident. Like, it's why, like I was saying earlier on, I said 3-1 on the pod, but I wasn't confident we'd get 3 goals going into it.
Hang on a sec. Tasha, you've not seen The Matrix, The Godfather, Goodfellas, Sopranos, or Pulp Fiction either. My family think I'm a freak as well. Listen,
Tasha,
you can't come around here if you've not seen most of, what is popular culture.
The Godfather, Goodfellas, and Sopranos, like that. Everyone knows the winter scene with Chris and Polly, where they lose the Ukrainian hitman, and it's like everyone. That is just one of the best episodes in a series I've ever seen in my life. It's fantastic. Get it watched.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
We've just got off on one today.
Yeah.
I don't even know what we were saying before that.
We were talking about how Cardiff fans said that they were looking forward to going into it because they always get something out of us. But thankfully, we went and they didn't get anything out of it, which was great. And
they were shit,
They were like.
Do you remember
at the start? Yeah, do you remember at the start of the season when we walked away from that game going, they were fucking shit? Well, they were even worse there today, like.
They were. They were fucking poor, man. I wasn't worried.
They were very poor.
I'm normally like stressed watching Leeds games. I'm always thinking, something's going to happen. We're going to concede. I wasn't worried for a second of that game today. There was never a point that I was like, oh God, we might not win this. There was never a point. There was never a point where they attacked and I thought, oh shit, not once.
No.
And then they hooked the striker at half time and
he was the only one. Yeah, he was the only one who had half a chance in the first half. Like, it was like, what are you doing? Like,
crazy.
But, all good for me.
I'll never understand that when managers do that. Like, I've seen that a couple of times this season against us as well. We're at Middlesbrough or we're at Swansea, where they had a guy who were like terrorising us up front and they took him off at about like 60, 70 minutes.
Yeah, I remember that. I can't remember who it was though, yeah.
And it were tearing us apart because he were going for it. He had a bit of pace.
I think it was Burrow when they were trying to play that ball over the top, was it?
Might have been. I'm sure it was a black lad who was up front.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. It was big and strong and it was quick and it was causing us problems and they hooked him. And like today with Cardiff, they hooked their guy and it don't make any sense to me, that. Unless maybe he's injured,
But he didn't look like he was the only one that had any half-decent effort going forward for them. And it baffled you a little bit as to why, but look, their losses are again late. That's the one, Brent.
Latty late. That's the one, Brent.
It was good against us, and then they just hooked them. Like, that was mad. Like, but the final goal then obviously was Rutter. I just want to point out some of his celebration Do you think was it a tribute to Ayling? It was. It very.
Oh
much
yeah,
looked like
of course,
that
yeah. That was a little send off for him, little bye bill.
But the build-up play for that goal and everything that went with it, and Bamford's intelligence to step over it was just from back to front. That was a fantastic goal. Like in terms of team build-up and everything.
Yeah, Bamford was so unselfish there because he must have been tempted to swing a leg at that.
Yeah,
maybe the fact that we're heading for his right foot made him think twice.
You see, the other thing as well is I watched the replay of that, and it actually came across. It came from obviously there, but it would have been nice to hit with his left foot regardless. I think he could have easily stepped onto that with the stride he was taking. Like he had to break his stride almost to step over the ball.
Do you think he got a shout?
Yeah, I think he got a shout, but I think his striding left foot would have been able to put through that ball without it coming across his body as well. Like, but the fact that he was, intelligent enough to leave it if he did get a shout or whether he didn't, I can't quite recall. But yeah, just from back to front, that was a fantastic goal.
It's nice to see that sometimes. It makes you feel like even though he's a striker, he is for the good of the team, not just for the good of himself.
Yeah,
because a lot of strikers are just playing their own game, trying to score goals and set their own records, and they're not that bothered about anybody else getting a goal.
Well, you see, I get what you're saying there as well, but at the same time, you look back at Stoke and you're like, you're a bit of a selfish prick there. Like, but at the same time,
but I think he's learned from that, mate. Even though he's asked to take a penalty and stuff, he hadn't pushed it. He's left that today for someone else, and I think he has kind of realised. You've got to be for the team. Otherwise, the team's not going to be for you.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Tasha is just talking here about the forthcoming game. We won't touch on it too much. I just want to
go on.
Against Preston with Miller on the wing. Do we play Archie at fullback? He did tear Archie a new one the last time. I thought Archie today was extremely good. I think he had more opportunities to get forward today than he would have normally. It was like he was playing as a more inverted wing back rather than a full back today because it looked like Ampadu and Rodan were very much marshalling the back on their own, and we were pressing quite high into their half for a lot of it. And Archie was pivotal to that today.
I disagree on the inverted wing back bit. I don't think him inside enough for that. He tended to do the wing more. Yeah, well, there was points at which he'd start coming inside a little bit. I think Firpo was as well, but not so like inverted wing back kind of wing back. I guess earlier in the game, maybe. Yeah, I think the last sort of 20 minutes of the game, he tended to stay out wide at that point.
He played very well when he got forward. To be fair, very. But
yeah,
well.
I think this is another thing I made a note of, and it says Gray very good attacking threat, pass for James that he hit the bar from. I mean, that pass, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Deserved a goal on the end of it, that.
There was one from Rutter for Somerville in the second half as well, where he kind of just chipped it up a little bit. If it had came down just a little bit more on the half volley, it would have been absolutely fantastic. But
yeah. Mr. Dodo says Dan James on the wing will help Archie out because of his pace, and he does get stuck in defending.
Yeah.
I think that's spot on as well. And I remember, I think it was like 55 minutes or something, so not mega late in the game, but somebody missed a pass and he came steaming back, did Dan James. He ran almost the length of the pitch to catch their attacker and tackle him, or attempt to tackle him. I can't remember if he actually got the ball or not now, but the fact he went like that, he's so quick, man.
And he's quite a hard little fucker, isn't he?
Oh yeah. He loves a bit of rough and tumble, doesn't he?
Yeah. That's the thing I've noticed about him recently as well, that he's not afraid to get stuck in, and he's got a bit of a thick head in him as well. Like if someone comes up on him a little bit hard, like you do need
back
that.
Down from anyone.
I think I'm not going to say it's short man syndrome, but there has to be some kind of like when I played football, I was very, very slim. And I'd always go after the biggest fucker on the pitch just so I could prove a point, Maybe that's the same with Dan James. He's like, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care how small you think I am. I'm going to absolutely leather you up and down this pitch at some point. Like
that's it. Leave one on them and make sure they know you're there.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is as much as anything. Like, but fair play to him. He's putting in a serious shift these days.
He's a great player this season. He's absolutely great. I feel a bit sort of bad for him because I feel like he'll be one of the first people want to drop if we do go up.
I don't think so.
He's really earned a shot this time, I think. But at the same time, you do have to wonder whether he would be good enough at that level. But that's a conversation for a different time. And it's nice that we're looking at these possibilities.
I get what you're saying there, Jay, as well. Like, but he's never had a settled club. Bar Swansea, when he was there for a little while, like what was he there about 3 years before Everton started going pear-shaped and move wise and stuff.
Yeah.
If he has a settled club where he knows he's going to be playing and he knows that the squad and the manager are going to be consistent, that plays a lot into the hands of a player. Like, you know what I mean? It gives them a different feeling to be around the club, to be able to go, right, I know where the club's going in this particular time frame, and to have the same manager, the same consistency, everything like that, it's massive for any player. Like,
it is. And I remember when Bamford signed, and he were a bit of a journeyman at that point. When he had been loaned out and sent all over the place, and I remember his interview when he joined saying, "I just always wanted to just be the main man at a club and just be the guy," and he got that at Leeds, and for a few seasons it really worked. Like, he settled in and he scored a shit ton of goals for us.
Yeah, he had purple patches here and there, and I think Bamford's kind of scoring record is very scattered. If you get what I mean, like there's stages where for 2 months he might score 8 goals and then not get anything for 3 months, and then get another 8 goals then for another 2 months, and then only get 1 or 2 in between this.
Yeah.
So he hits purple patches, and I think this is his kind of purple patch now, where he's going to. I think Bamford could finish easily 12, 15 goals this season if he carries it on. Like, yeah. Because he's like he made a very good point. He was asked after the Preston game, "How do you feel your confidence is?" And he was like, "My confidence was always fine. I was just wondering why the hell I wasn't playing." So that kind of says a lot about him. Where he's like, people are like, "Oh, his confidence isn't good. He'd have put that away if he was 2 years ago, Bamford." Blah blah blah. If a man says his confidence is always there, his confidence is there. It's just the opportunities that you need to be able to do that. Like,
it's whether you believe him. He might just be fronting up. You know what I mean? He might just be saying, "Oh yeah, we're always fine." Yeah.
Yeah, but
some people don't want to appear weak, do they? Mentally or whatever. They don't want people to think that.
Yeah, I don't think it's some people. I think it's everyone. No one ever wants to come across weak when they're in a position that he's in, where he's fighting for a place. Like, you're never going to come across as going, "Oh, I had my doubts about my ability and this and that." Nah, you don't say shit like that. You say, "Yeah, I'm very confident. I was asking the manager why I wasn't playing."
Danny says whether Bamford scores or not, he stays in this team ahead of Pirro. I don't think, if he's on a goalless run, I don't think he stays in the team for me, because what's the point of, like, what incentive is there for the other guy if the guy ahead of you is not scoring, but you still don't get a chance? Do you know what I mean? I don't think you can stick with him if he goes 3 or 4 games without a goal.
Oh no, I think maybe
at the moment he has replaced Pirro as the first choice striker, because Pirro was the guy who wasn't scoring.
Oh yeah, no, I think maybe what Danny meant is he stays in the team while he's in the form or the vein that he's in at the moment. Like, I agree, but if it does start to drop off, then you do start to rotate him and Pirro again. Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah,
Bryn's not a fan of Pirro. Says he can't run the line or press. Now, I agree he can't press, not like Bamford. I think he can run the line, but he's been put in the 10, hasn't he? And in the 9, so it's hard to judge him on that, really, at Leeds.
Yeah. Again, I think, like we mentioned earlier on, Jay, this could be the catalyst for Fark to go, all right, if I'm playing Rutter in the 10 and he's slotting in there comfortably and he's influencing games in a major way, then my swap with Bamford is going to have to be Pirro in the 9. So that's definitely going to give Pirro the time now, because if Bamford does kind of drop off with the goals and whatnot, at least if Pirro comes in, he knows he's going into that 9 position,
Yeah, that's it. And it's like he's now got to step up. He's either going to come out the blocks or he's going to crumble and fade away.
Yeah, that's it. He knows now.
Danny says Bamford does more than Pirro. He always looks stoned. He's Dutch. He's been put in the 10 because he played the 10 at Swansea. I know I've seen that said many times he did, but the feeling was always that we signed him as a striker, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he's meant to be a finisher. So for me, Rutter is a far better 10 than Pirro is.
Yeah. Well, we're all seeing that now at the moment. Like, so it's just a case of does Farke admit that maybe what he was trying previously wasn't going to be the way it was going to go, and just play a natural 9 in his position.
And teams and tactics progress, like things change.
Yeah.
Sometimes something will happen because it's forced, and it'll just work, and you'll stick with it. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to say, yeah, that we're wrong.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but again, we discussed that possibility earlier on, so we'll have to wait and see if he's going to kind of suck it up.
Jesse Marsh would never say it, but a reasonable human being with some intelligence might.
I think everyone, bar Jesse Marsh, has the intelligence to realise that when they're wrong, they're wrong.
I think so, but he definitely doesn't.
No, not at all.
I don't want to talk about that fucker too much, but yeah. That interview I couldn't watch. I turned it on, and as soon as he started speaking, I think I've got like PTSD or something. I just couldn't. I couldn't sit. I had to just read on Twitter what the salient points of it were, and to be honest with you, it were everything I expected. None of it were his fault.
Huh?
It were everyone else's fault. He didn't do it wrong. He were nearly there. We were about to start winning all his games. And we weren't really 18th, apparently, even though table said we were. So,
look, I made of mine, posted it today, and he said, interesting, listen. But Bandy is in there. What's he saying?
we speak not of the fish-eyed fool.
Yeah. And he goes, it's an interesting listen. And I was like, I have absolutely no time for listening to that asshat talk shite for an hour. Like, I couldn't do it to myself. I genuinely couldn't do it to myself.
Yeah, there's other people in the comments agreeing they couldn't listen to him.
Couldn't do it. He talks absolute bollocks.
Just like, bobbins in it. It's just
he's like the
word salad.
He's like the drunk local in the pub that no one wants to talk to, and you're like, just go away. Just go away. No time for you.
I saw the clip where like Simon Jordan was saying something along the lines of, oh, yeah, he's saying about culture, and Jesse Marsh is like, oh, it's a culture, like people try to be edgy here, and Simon Jordan's like, yeah, there's a lot of envy in England, in Britain. And it's like it's sad. It's sad. Yeah. It's like, fuck off, Jesse, you fucking idiot. Yeah. Anyway, I'll rifle through a few of the
your participation medal, motherfucker.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll rifle through a few of the comments, and then we can wrap up for the night.
All right, man.
There's more drinking and celebrating to be done.
Yeah.
So Danny, he said, "Evening, gents. Never doubted Bamford." Andy Aylor said, great to hear Luke Ayling chant, our fans are class. Also, Rutters air guitar celebration, get in. We mentioned that, didn't we? Enjoyed that.
Class.
Danny says, loved Rutter air guitar celebration for Ayling. Alison says, Tasha, I'm good time. London, is she on the piss?
On the session, Alison, are you on the session?
Is she raising hell? I think I saw she'd gone to Cardiff. So did you go to Cardiff and then back to London, Alison? I don't know. Are you...
Jay's left us again.
Nonsense. We'll still win this division. Just the 14 points now. We will follow me. I can't see it, mate, but you never know. You never know. Danny says, I said to Luke that Bamford scores 10 goals before Pirro does. Hey, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Mr. Dodo says, an Irishman wanting someone else to speak challenge. Impossible. I'm kidding. Shelley Johnson, I think we've got a great first 11, but I'm a little worried about the bench, which seems a bit light. Do you think we'll actually strengthen in the window? The 49ers seem to leave things late. I think we will. I think the journos have mentioned fullbacks and stuff like that and defenders, and they're not talking about that if they're not hearing something, are they? Just not the level we've seen. There's been a lot of sort of, Leeds are interested in them, and it's guys like Phil and stuff, and Baron Cross and that, and Graham Smith, and they don't tend to say stuff like that unless they've heard a little something at least, do they?
No, I think that's the case, but we've seen how the quickly touch on the 49ers, they don't do anything in view of the public. They like everything happened. Like we heard what 5 or 6 names for manager position, and then all of a sudden Fark comes out of nowhere after being interviewed for a week or something. So
Ampadu just
like,
turned up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I like that we're hearing nothing. I like it, because
I don't worry anymore.
Yeah, I feel like we're actually in capable hands. We're not just going to panic buy.
I feel like you can trust these guys to at least try to get us back to the Premier League. Long term, we'll see, won't we? But when you think about it, they had all those investors that then pulled out because we got relegated. So you have to think that they will have these people waiting in the wings, at least some of them, ready to come in if we do go back up. So to them, if they spend a bit of money to get us there, that's not a big deal because they're going to bring more in potentially.
Yeah. Bryn says we only seem to hear when it's 95% done. I'm more than happy with that, Bryn. At least we know it's concrete then, lad.
Yeah, that's
absolutely,
it. There's nothing worse than like getting attached to an idea of, so-and-so's coming in. You start, like all those content creators will get on, we start talking it up and we can't wait for this player. It's going to be great. And then he goes somewhere else, fucking Southampton or something, or it were never happening, And I like that when you hear something now, it tends to be something more concrete and you might have to wait to hear it, but at least it tends to be reliable. You know something's happening. I'm all right with that.
I'm okay with that. Like, absolutely, yeah.
I think we've got one last comment here, and it's Shelley Johnson, and she says, "I'd definitely keep James. He's improved loads and he's better at decision making these days." That's a big thing, the decision making. He has got better at that. He's stopped doing silly things. Like I was saying, like he used to just try and boot it into box somehow. He didn't really. There were no aim. There were no picking a person out. Seems to have changed that for me now, and gets his shot for me next season if we go up.
Yeah, I like it now at the moment. He's definitely proven that when he's settled at a club, he's definitely going to give it his all, and the way he's performing at the moment is just proofs in the pudding, really. Like he's doing what he needs to do.
And you feel like if we did fail to go up, he's one of the ones that would be happy to stay. He won't kick off. He'd be ready to go again. Let's try again next season. Do you know what I mean?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the last of the old comments there, Jay?
That's the last of the starred ones, yeah. That's it, mate.
Sound as a pound.
You can take it away. You can bring us home.
Cheers. No, straightforward enough. Thanks for joining us tonight. I hope you really enjoyed the win today and the chat today. And look, sure, we'll try and get on for another pod on Tuesday. I don't know who was on. Be very last minute again. We'll probably be about 3 minutes late again.
Probably, probably be us again. It'd be you, me, and Luke again, like it seems to be every week now.
Yeah, punctual as fuck.
Yeah,
we'll catch you later, folks. Have a good weekend. And Jay, nice one, man.
Cheers, man.